Ladies, it's your time to shine with all things fabulous with First for Women on Afternoon Express. For insurance with a host of fabulous benefits, call 0861 11 18 44 or SMS FIRST to 49267.
South Africa, lovely to be back in your homes and welcome to Afternoon Express right here on SABC 3. It is a little bit past 4, time for us to inspire you a little bit for the next hour. I'm Bonang Matiba.
And I'm Bonnie Booley. Today on the show, we tackle a subject that affects all South Africans, quite dramatically actually.
Dum, dum, dum. It's not that dramatic, but it is load shedding, something every single one of us have to deal with in our homes, in our businesses. So today we have 2 experts who are going to give us some pros, some cons, some tips on how you can survive load shedding. Also, comedian, yes, Loyiso Gola is here. He's going to be bringing us the lighter side of load shedding. Hopefully make all of us laugh a little bit.
Light up our lives.
Exactly.
Yeah, and of course our energy experts are going to give us advice on how to protect our appliances and also how to conserve electricity in the home and at work, and that's worthy advice because we've all been having quite a hard time with it.
We have. Actually, I'm somebody who has suffered, had to buy a new fridge because of load shedding.
Gosh.
Yep, but remember, we are live. We do love hearing from you. Call us, tweet us, do what you need to do at Afternoon Chat and use our official hashtag Afternoon Express. So much to do, so little time. Of course, it's not just Bon Bizzle and I. It's not the 2 queen bees. Somebody else is in the kitchen. Danilo, how you doing?
I'm so well, ladies. It's so good to have you guys both in the building with us today, and welcome South Africa. And I hope you guys are going to visit our website, afternoonexpress.co.za, because there's a cool recipe waiting for you guys today. Joining us in studio in the loft, we've got Irit Noble. Now, Irit, apparently there's this big mystery around how long you've been in the industry. Are we going to find out today?
Since the dawn of time, dear.
Oh, alrighty. Well, she still looks the part, and she's going to be joining us in the loft today, chatting about a brand new show that she has got, and we're looking forward to hearing more about that. But it's Marli and me in the studio. How's it?
Wow, how are you?
I'm very, very good, thank you. So we've been making a lot of really cool wintry dishes on Afternoon Express so far. What are we making today?
It's an utterly decadent chocolate tart with caramelized lemon gold slices.
It sounds absolutely delicious. If you guys want to cook along with us, don't forget afternoonexpress.co.za. The recipe and shopping list is there for you. And if you want to get a hold of us on the show and chat to us live, 083-913-3728 is the number to dial. You can chat to any of our guests and particularly want to know about sharing stories to do with load shedding. And maybe you have a question for our experts. If you're in business or at home and want to know more, give us a call on that number. Otherwise, Afternoon Chat on Twitter and use the hashtag Afternoon Express. Right now, though, Bonang is standing by with our first guest, one of the funniest mans in South Africa.
Yep, he's hailed as one of South Africa's premier, top of the league comedians. His television career started back in 2002 when he appeared on the Phat Joe show on SABC1, and he has since performed all around the world, including London and New York, and most recently, he secured a spot on the Australian satirical news show, The Weekly with Charlie Pickering. Joining us on the couch is Emmy-nominated funny man, Loyiso Gola. Welcome to Afternoon Express.
Yes.
Yeah?
Thank you for having me.
Lovely to see you. So let's get straight into it.
Straight into
Australia. I think everybody is dying to know. Did little Loyiso think you'd ever land a show, in a different continent, a different country?
Little Loyiso didn't even know that he'll even get out of a trick, man. I think, listen, it's always like, I just work and everything else just comes. So when the show came, I was quite excited, but I just keep my head down.
Really?
Yeah.
So how did you, land the show in Australia? Where did they hear about you?
Here's the thing. I was I was part of a show in Australia, 2010, called the 7 p.m. Project, which is still running now. But I did a couple of episodes. Some of the producers loved it, and then one of the people who was on that show got their own show, and they said, I want to take this whole idea of you being a correspondent from South Africa to my own show. So it took him about a year and a half to put together the new show, and we were corresponding in between that time. We met up when we were at the Emmys and we spoke about it, and boom, he called me a couple of weeks ago and said, hey, let's do the show.
That's amazing. So when you say corresponding, does it mean that obviously you shoot the show in South Africa, or do you have to move to Australia, or does it mean you have to be up 9 hours early in the morning?
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. I was supposed to go there. I was like, I don't want to live to Australia because there's no black people in Australia. I just don't want to be the only black person in a room or in a country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just I don't want there to be 3 of us. I just want I just generally like other black people around me.
Yeah.
So Australia was not an option. So the other way to shoot it was via satellite.
Wow.
So we shoot it via satellite at like well, I haven't done a story in 2 weeks now, but 8 o'clock, it's live. We shoot live to the audience.
That's incredible.
And the weirdest thing though is that, you know, like at 12 o'clock, like last night at 12, we were working on a story that we might possibly do on Wednesday. They're waking up and I'm going to sleep.
Yes.
So I have to, every day I sleep at like 1, just so that I can accommodate a Skype call. So sometimes I'm like, I'll sleep like at 8 and then wake up at 12, check my email, speak to them, and then we prepare.
I mean, for South Africans that have never seen that show, obviously it is in Australia. What kind of show is it?
It's pretty much like similar to the same show that I do. It's satirical. It takes world news and mostly Australian news, and then I come in as the African correspondent.
All
So
right.
if something happened, Al Bashir, FIFA story that's related to South Africa, they cross over to me and I write jokes about it. But it's the process of writing the jokes is quite a. We'll get it right because it's Skype and then I'm writing with my guy here and then.
I mean, you know, straight after we heard about Trevor Noah obviously getting the Daily Show in America and you getting the show in Australia, what do you think it is about South African comedians that fascinates the world so much? And I mean, you're doing so well. The comedy industry on its own is just exploding at the moment.
Well, I think that we just have a story to tell. We just have a story to tell, and the world hasn't really heard our story or has heard the one dimension of the story. And the story is so multifaceted that it needs to be told. And I think like in the next 10 years to come, there's going to be way more comedians coming out of South Africa doing big things.
Yeah. And apart from, you know, the show in Australia, what else are you up to? I know you're doing a stand-up show at the moment, which is going all across the country.
I'm doing a stand-up comedy show that's going throughout the whole country. I start on Thursday in Johannesburg, and on Friday, Saturday, I'm in Pretoria at the Atterbury Theatre. Then
What is it called? Is it the Loyiso Gola show?
It's called Loyiso Gola Live, but I call my one-man shows the State of the Nation, pretty much, because it's like a sum-up of what's happening in the country, in my opinion. Then I'm in, from the 1st to the 4th, I'm at the Roxy's in Cape Town, in Grand West. Then I go to Grahamstown for another 5 days, then I go back to Joburg.
That's incredible.
And then I continue the tour later on in the year.
I mean, for anybody that has never seen your stand-up shows, what's some of the topics that you enjoy? I know you love politics, politicians, making fun of them. What else do you touch on, and what can we expect going into Loyiso Gola Live?
Well, honestly, at the moment, I am talking mostly about my upbringing. I mean, the one bit that I really like talking about is like remember like if you were poor, because if you go to a white school and there's all these white kids and you there with the white kids and then they have chicken and mayo sandwiches and then you're like, we only have chicken and mayo during Christmas.
Yeah.
And then you are there stuck with this peanut butter and thingy sandwich. And then, do you remember how hectic that thing used to be when it got to your throat?
Yeah, because it stayed in your bag. It became hot and then stinky.
And it's stinky. And then
it's difficult to swallow.
And then little John is eating chicken and mayo on a Tuesday. Like, we're like, I'm about to die here.
That is so refreshing. So why the take on, you know, your upbringing? Because we all know, we watch the Eirene show, your stand-up comedy. You love politicians. So why did you decide to focus on your upbringing and things that happen in your life?
I think for this show, for the first time, I really, because people sort of kind of don't know who I am. So it's a good time to say, hey, this is where I grew up. This is how I grew up, and this is how my upbringing cultivated the person that I am.
Yeah.
And I think to an audience, generally, they tend to be interested in that, as opposed to you being observational and picking on other people.
I mean, rewind to 4.5 years ago, you would find one stand-up comedy show, maybe once a month. Now, every single day, when I think of Skumba, when I think of you, when I think of Trevor Noah, when I think of David Gow, each and every one of you doing so well. Why is it that SA comedy is exploding at such a hectic pace?
I think like comedy worldwide, some of the biggest and richest stars in the world are comedians.
Absolutely.
Like Eddie Murphy, Seinfeld, some of the richest, biggest stars are, and that thing is really coming to South Africa. Even in the UK, some of the biggest stars are comedians, because music is subjective.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So and people have to have a certain inclination. Whereas with comedy, people just tend to, we have more in common than we don't have in common.
Humor.
We
Laughing
all go
is
through
laughing.
breakups. We all go through certain things. And if you can, get someone to resonate that with you, then you win them over.
Fantastic.
Why am I sitting like this?
I do not know. I do not know.
You're sitting up straight and I'm just sitting like a... But it's fine. Let's
Maybe
continue.
you can tell us why he's sitting like this. Tweet us right now at Afternoon Chat. Use our official hashtag Afternoon Express. If you have any questions for Loyiso Gola, make sure that you call us right now. Stay where you are. After the break, Danilo gets chocolatey in the kitchen and we chat with Irit Noble. Don't move.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. So we're in the kitchen today with Marli and me, and today we're making a delicious chocolate tart. And I'm very glad because I saw on the other end of the table that you've used dark chocolate and it's organic too. So it's one of our favorite ingredients, one of my favorite ingredients, absolutely. So Marli, I think we should get started.
Yes. What's great about this recipe is that you can make some of the components beforehand. So we're going to start with the fill of the chocolate.
Okay.
It's chocolate and cream, so we wanted to take it nice and slow over the gas. Just allow all the chocolate to melt.
Amazing. I think I can take charge of that because it's chocolates, and if it's involved chocolate, I'm in. I'm always game. So you've broken up a full slab into there.
Yeah, full slab of chocolate into there. Break it into nice pieces that it melts evenly, so even-sized pieces, and then we're going to add all the cream in.
Okay, which cream have you used? A
double thick cream, so it's really rich, high in fat. So just a really low heat that prevents that extra fat coming out that you don't want afterwards. Keep it nice and homogeneous.
Can we use any sort of chocolate for one of these fillings, or is dark chocolate obviously recommended? It's got a stronger taste, I assume.
Yeah, I think it's a bit more robust, which goes really well with the citrus that we're pairing it with.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's really like any wine, what you prefer to drink. So if you want to go for a milk chocolate, even a hazelnut chocolate in there will also work really nicely.
Yummy. Okay, so this is also another double thick. We're really going to go all out with this cream.
So I think while you do that, can I start on the pastry
yes, absolutely,
in the
please.
meantime?
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, take a listen to this.
So this is puff pastry, and it's a pre-bought one. So I think for those who want to be adventurous, they can make their own, or they can also replace it with a short crust pastry.
Interesting, but can you replace it with something that is maybe a little bit more gluten-free? Because I did get a message on Instagram from one of our viewers who wants to know if we can make this sugar-free and gluten-free.
Yes, you definitely can. So if you don't want to use anything with wheat flour in it, then you can replace it with a nut crust or with anything with coconut flour in it. I think in the event that you want to stay away from all of that, you can just put it in a glass or mug and then cut out the pastry completely.
So almost find yourself a martini glass and pour pure chocolate, dark chocolate, into a martini glass.
Definitely, definitely. So we just roll the pastry over, and you'll see it's quite a nice, robust pastry. The whole tart as well, so it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yes.
I'm going to just run this over, then I'm just going to use these off-cut pieces and just line the side like this. And then to prevent it from rising too much, because it is the puff pastry, we're going to use a fork and just prick holes into it. And you'll see that I've rolled it fairly thin, and the reason for that is to allow for the puff to happen.
Okay, cool.
And then we've preheated the oven to 200 degrees Celsius, which is nice for pastry to bake at really high temperatures. We're going to use this paper that I've just crumbled up a little bit.
And that's just normal baking paper, that's the wax paper?
Yeah, baking paper, not the sandwich paper.
Yes, I think that will pretty much make a fire in your oven if you tried that.
And then you put that in and you just use this weight, so nice beans or rice, anything, and you put that on top of the paper.
Okay, that's just to keep the pastry nice and flat, or?
Yeah, it's to keep the pastry flat to prevent air pockets from forming.
Okay,
because we want a nice big fill for this.
Before you put that in, is this chocolate on the right path? Am I doing okay here?
Yes, it's perfect.
Just give it a good stir, so just let that melt for a little bit.
Just keep that until there's no more lumps of chocolate left.
Amazing. So I want to keep stirring this and making sure this chocolate gets nice and creamy. And once this is done, all we have to do is obviously pop that in the oven, get this in there, and we'll show you exactly how to do that later on. Don't forget www.afternoonexpress.co.za. All the recipes as well as the shopping list is available for you, so you can cook along with us on Afternoon Express. And I'm so glad that this dish is here because it is a timeless one. You can make this at any time during the year. And so keep this recipe on hand. Go and print it out, put it in your file, because this is one that I think you can make sort of any time. And we're going to be adding a bit of a citrus twist to this one.
We definitely will use some lemon gold peel.
Yes. Hey, looking forward to it. And if you guys don't want to cook along with us, but you do want to chat to our guests live on air, 083-913-3728 is the number you can dial to chat to any of our guests live on air. And speaking of which, we've got our next one on the couch.
Thank you, Danilo. She's performed at corporate events and presented on radio and TV with her unique brand of comedy entertainment for more than 2 decades now. She's also a renowned cabaret performer and has emceed for Madame Zingara's Theatre of Dreams. Joining us on the couch is the stylish and sensual master of shows, Irit Noble. Welcome to The Loft, Irit.
Master of shows.
Wow.
I like it.
How does that feel?
I love it.
But you are indeed a master, and you've been entertaining for years now. You do cabaret, you're a comedian, and I know cabaret is a highly specialized form of theatre. Can you explain to some of our viewers who are not familiar with what a cabaret show is all about?
I guess it's evolved now into, I'm calling it more just stand-up and song. So just modernized it a bit more because I think, as you say, a lot of people don't know what cabaret is. So I'm kind of dropping that label at the moment and just moving into something a little bit more simple. It's Irit Noble, stand-up and song. Ta-da!
Yeah, that's quite a contemporary feel. What's unique about your show? I mean, if I were to come to your show, what would I expect?
Comedy, so more inspirational comedy that's based on what's happening today. The same, I was listening to your interview with the interview with Loyiso, and it's more about taking things that are happening right now, classic stand-up, taking things that are happening right now, blowing them out of proportion, making them more recognizable or less recognizable, just bringing humor into everyday situations, and then of course mixing it with song.
Yes.
So I do some parodies. And then I also do some lesser-known numbers, a couple of modern numbers. So it's like life.
Yes.
It's a mishmash, you know?
And it looks like quite an energy-filled show. I mean, night after night, how do you keep your energy levels up and just keep doing the same thing while still making it interesting?
I love it.
You just love it.
Yeah, it's life to me. It's what I do. So it's exciting, and I love, you know, for me it might be the same every night, but I know that for every single audience member, they're experiencing it through their own viewpoint, their own glasses, their own lens.
Yes.
And so I try and just remind myself the whole time that this is not about me.
Yes,
it's about them.
the viewer,
So, and that every single person is interpreting it in their own way. So I just have to make it fresh and beautiful, you know?
Right. And you also were the MC for Madame Zingara's Theatre of Dreams. How long did you do that for?
Well, I was one of the original conceptualizers, so I helped them to write the very first show. Madame Zingara used to be a restaurant, and then they moved it to this beautiful tent and created the Theatre of Dreams.
Theatre of Dreams.
So I was one of the original, I was the diva MC, the ring mistress.
Right. And people can have dinner while they watch, right?
It's beautiful. For anybody who hasn't been, it is worth it. It's something you do, you know, once in your life or once a year. But it was really a privilege being a part of that, and I learned so much.
That must be quite interactive as well. I mean, were there any embarrassing or funny stories that happened on any of the given nights?
Listen,
please share.
If there are any embarrassing stories, I'm not going to relive them here for everybody. But yes, you know, it's a live situation.
Yes.
So things happen.
Things happen,
you
for
know,
sure.
things happen. But overall, I think it is a very, very smooth experience, you know, for something on such a mammoth scale.
Yeah.
But it was wonderful because even though it's very theatrical, the audience is really, really close.
There, yes.
So there's no real differentiation between the stage and the audience. You can literally reach out and touch, you know, and that's what's so exciting and electric about it.
Right. There aren't many women in comedy.
No.
What's it like being a lone female in comedy? Well, not alone, maybe one of like 5 that we know of.
Yes.
What are some of the challenges that you face?
You know, I wouldn't know because I've never been a man in comedy. So I've only ever been a woman in comedy.
Okay, so your challenges feel like just your challenges.
Yeah, I think for me, the one thing possibly that's a challenge is that people say to me sometimes I dress too feminine on stage. I should be, you know, a little bit flat shoes and, you know, not so much makeup and stuff. But I think they're comedians of every shape, size, color.
Of course. I'd
so
love to see a female comedian in heels and bright red lipstick.
Well then, come see me.
You've got a show coming up, I'll Survive. Please tell us about it.
Okay, life is, well, we're going to talk about load shedding. Life comes with its challenges.
Yes.
So what I've done is I've crafted a show. It's a one-woman show, and it's basically just about life's challenges, whether it's the load shedding or relationships or, you know, Loyiso, I was just laughing so hard just now simply because he said something about chicken mayonnaise sandwiches on a Tuesday. He says, on a Tuesday. And the simplest little things are funny, you know, the little the littlest things that people can recognize, those are the funny things. So it's up to me or up to any comic or entertainer or writer to have a look and see what is happening in society at the moment, in the different stratas of society, and to kind of blow that up while still being respectful to everybody.
Yeah.
But just take something and just make it comical, so make it completely extreme.
Yes.
And that's what the show is all about, just surviving the day, surviving the relationship, surviving the children, surviving the load shedding, you know, surviving everything. I don't talk about politics because there are lots of guys out there who just are far more educated
Keep
than
it
me.
light, And of course, viewers, if you want to know about dates and any more information you need on the show, you can go to our website, www.afternoonexpress.co.za. Don't go away, because after the break, we take a look at how you can be more load shedding smart at your home. And don't forget to join the conversation on social media. Today, we want to share your crazy load shedding stories with us, or maybe you have a question for one of our experts. Tweet us at Afternoon Chat using the Afternoon Express comment on our Facebook page, or give us a call on 083 913 3728.
Watching Afternoon Express on SABC3. Welcome back. Now, all South Africans, as we know, are susceptible to load shedding, and we know that losing power in winter can be especially frustrating during those long and cold nights. We can point fingers all we want, but unfortunately, the truth is that it's, you know, we're going to have to literally live with it. So today in The Loft, we have Brent Lawrence, a health and safety officer, who's going to give us some valuable tips on how to protect ourselves, our homes, and of course, our electronic appliances during load shedding. Brent, welcome to Afternoon Express. So I'm getting tweets, right?
Yeah.
We're like, we're live, we're talking load shedding. And people are like, we just got load shedded, it's just after 4.
Oh my gosh.
So they're missing the show.
I know,
Yeah,
bummer.
it sucks.
And it seems like load shedding is something we just have to accept to live with, like you just said. What is the first thing one must do when load shedding hits?
Well, if you know load shedding is coming, you have to power down your
No, wait,
equipment.
Brent. We do know load shedding is coming. Sometimes it happens when you least
Unexpected.
expect it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't load shed according to the schedule that we're given.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the problem. Is not the power outage. It's when power come on.
Okay.
Sometimes it gives a surge and it jolts voltage into your appliances, and it damages all the electronic equipment inside there. For example, like fridges, washing machines, dryers, all run on computers nowadays. So it has long-term and short-term effects on your equipment. Also, because we're talking about home safety tips, people that use power drills and power tools, when you're working with power tools, when the power goes off immediately, it jams the power tool into the material and the hands get hurt. Yeah, so you must be careful with regard to that.
So are you saying that must we unplug everything when load shedding hits, or what must we do?
As you said, sometimes it happens when you least expect it. But if you know it's going to happen, then rather power down. If you haven't got any devices that can protect yourself or your appliances, then rather power down. But if you don't know it's coming, then
there's nothing
you can do.
By powering down, you mean what exactly?
Like, for example, your PCs, your computers, power down. If you haven't got a UPS to back it up, also power up. Power down, because if your computer switches off immediately, it will corrupt your files over long term.
Right.
So do that to your television as well. The new television is coming out. It's out now. It damages the equipment inside as well. So take the plugs out of your fridge, the socket. If you haven't got the devices to protect it.
So let's talk about, appliances. And I was telling Bonnie this earlier on that, back at my house, load shedding has literally destroyed my fridge. And I've had to buy an entire new fridge and, get an electrician to come fix it. How do we protect our appliances? How do we do that? Toasters, kettles, fridge, television, DVDs, decoders?
Well, with fridges and washing machines, there's motors in there, so it damages your motor as well. So we have products on the market that different products on the market that can protect your equipment.
Did you bring some?
Yeah. This is called surge protectors.
Please show us.
This is like a cheap version of surge protector. A surge protector is a device that regulates electricity that goes into your appliance. So if a big jolt comes, it prevents that big jolt from going to your appliance.
Right.
So this is one of the cheapest versions that you can get. It's about 40 Rand. Then you get a multi-plug one. You can plug in all your appliances. You see this little red device over here.
Okay.
It works like a fuse. So if there's a big jolt of electricity goes through, it prevents it from going to your appliances.
How do I know that this is the one? Like, how do,
You can go to a local store and ask to give you a surge protector.
Surge protector.
Surge protector. Yes.
All right. So what else do you have there, Brent?
This one over here is specifically designed for TVs, for fridges, washing machines.
I should have got that. Girl, now I have to get out.
You can take that one, girl. You can take that one home.
Yeah, so this one's really good when you have like fridges and washing machines and freezers as well.
Yeah. What's next? Obviously, we have no light when it's load shedded. So what are some of the equipments that you have here?
First of all, we're living in technological era, so cell phones is very important. People go crazy with cell phones.
It's like, oh my goodness, there's load shedding. I haven't charged my phone. I can't tweet. The world is ending. That's me every day.
Like apocalypse.
I can't take a selfie.
I can't Instagram.
And is that a power bank you've got over there?
So if you know the amount of selfies going down at a certain point, there's lots of outages. Yeah. So this is power banks over here that you can buy. It's also good for if you drive long distances.
Yeah.
This is power banks for your cell phones, for iPads. Just take in mind that these stuff are not there to actually charge your phone to full capacity, but it's there to sustain energy.
Absolutely. All right.
Then you have this is actually kind of nice thing. Especially if you live in the rural areas, you can wind it up and. Right.
And then how do you charge this? Is that a solar outside?
No, it's like a
you
mechanical.
just wind
it. You get the radios as well. It actually started out with this guy invented the radio. Where you can crank it and then you can listen to the radio. And since then they made lights like this from there.
Okay, got you.
You know what's coming to mind, B? Because we forget that load shedding happens. When we're having a good time and the lights have been on for quite a while and load shedding hasn't come around for a while, and you've got all these things in the house and then suddenly load shedding hits and you can't find them.
Yeah.
So you actually have to have a load shedding box.
Where you know exactly where you go and you can maneuver around your house.
Load shedding box, don't touch it.
What you can do is you can have like a cupboard in your kitchen, like it's almost like your rescue cupboard or something like that. We can keep your first aid kit in as well. You can keep all your lights that you need in there as well. One of the things also that people have to realize is that if you have people in the house that has chronic illnesses that needs nebulizers, or like people that do home dialysis for your kidneys, then keep the stuff in charge. If you have batteries, keep it charged.
All right. And what's the cooler box for?
Oh, it's not the cooler box, it's the first aid box.
Oh, what does that do?
I feel like I'm giving a Tupperware party.
I know, right?
This is good for your lasagna and for your first aid, please. So this all your first aid stuff is in here. We encourage, because we do health and safety, we encourage not to put in tablets because obviously some people can be allergic to it.
Yeah.
But you just keep the basics like bandages. Keep a list of all your telephone numbers that you need if it's an emergency. Okay. Burn shield as well. Burn shield is a very good product. If anybody burn, then you can use burn shield. It's a temporary measure while you take a person to the hospital.
Okay.
Oh, thank you so much.
Well, Brent, we've learnt a lot from you. It's my birthday on Thursday.
Is it?
Can I tell you what I asked for? A generator.
Oh, wow.
A birthday present. I did. I really did.
Generator's very nice. It's a good investment, but people complain it's noisy. So.
But I mean, noise or
or electricity.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. So if you want to romance, you come with a big box with a generator.
Darling, that is
one place that's definitely not experiencing load shedding right now is the kitchen. Danilo.
Absolutely, and you'll be glad to know that I've got gas. If you get it, I'm using gas. Doesn't need electricity. Awkward. Okay, so Marli, we've almost ready with our tart. I see our base is done and dusted. I see you putting something in our chocolate.
Yeah, so a nice microplane grater, and it's beautiful and fine. So we only get the zest of these lemon golds in here, and that will give us our, that top note flavors in the tart. And you can already smell that citrusy notes coming through.
Can you use a variety of citruses? Can you use like lemon zest and
you can use
lime
lemon,
zest?
lime, orange, any citrus that's in season.
Yummy.
We're going to fold this in, and then you can can play around. So there's some orange essence. For those of you who don't mind a splash of alcohol, some Cointreau in here would be really nice.
I like this idea. That is more dumb alley. I was like, oh, essence and zest. Okay, but control. Okay. No, it's okay.
And then just to finish this off, while this is nice and warm still, we add in 4 egg yolks.
Okay.
And that gives the stability to the mix. So it's going to help it to set.
And also gives it a little bit more richness. So this is going to be a cholesterol nightmare, but an absolute delight to the tongue, right?
Yeah. And I think it's great for load shedding as well, because the base you can make beforehand.
True.
And this you can do on gas or
gas
even on a
stove. There you
fire
go.
if need be.
So shall I scoop this in for you? So you can pour it in. Oh, it seems to come out really nicely. So not much that I have to do. Is it too much?
I think let's just
Let's
stop
just
there
leave it
and we
like
can
that.
just even it out. And then this needs to set a little bit. So if you want, and if you're going to eat it straight away, it's very soft, very gooey. And then a cup is probably a better bet.
Probably.
Otherwise, you can leave it, just do it before you start your dinner and then leave it in, what do you call it, dessert time.
Dessert time, it should be done and
That will
dusted.
be
So how long does that
perfect.
take to set? Sorry, I missed that.
I think probably an hour.
An
Just
hour or
it
so.
depends how cold it is where you are.
And it helps put it in the fridge, does it?
It will. The fridge is just not great for pastry. So if you have a nice cold spot somewhere in the kitchen, it's probably best to keep it there.
It's usually where your evil aunt is. That's where it's cold. It's because her cold heart is.
And then
I see you've also got a cool decoration that you're busy putting on top here. What is going on here?
Yeah, you can definitely help me with this. This is just, we're going to dust it nice and thick with some icing sugar. And the icing sugar melts very quickly because of all the moisture in the slices.
Okay.
And if your grill in your oven's not working, we'll play with this and just
Man like fire. Okay, what are we just glazing them?
very nice and close until we get a nice caramelized look to it. And the sugar does melt. So once you've done that, you start and you decorate it immediately.
Oh, amazing.
So,
Okay. This is the best part. So if you have children and you want to make sure that they have something to, probably don't let them play with the fire, but you know, if you want to keep them entertained. Or maybe if you do want them to get burnt. If you are the evil aunt, this is the time. Have another one for you. You can put those ones on in the meantime.
Finish until we have all of them.
I'm having loads of fun. And you, I see you got a variety of citrus here too.
So it's mainly the Clement Golds, but we've got some orange slices. There were some lime slices in between. And if you do have electricity, I mean, this do take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
You just put a nice even layer on a baking sheet, dust it with the icing sugar, and then on your warmest setting on your grill.
Because I tried when I was young, trying to convince my parents that I needed a blowtorch. Because they were going to cook with a blowtorch, I need a blowtorch. But if you can do it in the oven, I think that's also a really, really nice way
and
to
I mean,
do
it doesn't have to be this fancy small one. The electrician blowtorches, they do the same job, it's just a little bit faster.
Amazing.
But be careful, it's an open flame.
Okay, I'm going to turn that one down now. I'll finish all of those off in just a bit. But if you're brand new to Afternoon Express, first of all, where have you been? And second of all, don't forget, www.afternoonexpress.co.za. All of our recipes and shopping lists are available for you, so you can cook along with us. And like I said, this dessert is timeless. You can make it any time of the year, and it'll be absolutely delicious. It's rich, it's chocolatey, and everybody absolutely loves chocolate. And you can make almost a sugar-free and gluten-free version. So do make sure you download this recipe, you print it out, and keep it on file at all times. Right now, we're going to take a short commercial break. When we're back, we're going to complete our recipe, and you guys get to see us enjoy it.
Express yourself.
South Africa, are you with us?
Welcome back to Afternoon Express here on SABC3. Now, load shedding does not only affect us in the home, it also has a huge impact on our workplace, including those of us who have small businesses. With the load shedding occurring regularly and power prices constantly increasing, it's important to know how to find ways to lower your electricity usage and make your workplace more power efficient. And joining us to discuss the issue is Alan Matthews from Energy Partners, a company that supply energy solutions to businesses. Hello, Alan. Welcome to the loft.
Welcome to the show, Alan. Now, in all honesty, I have to tell you how active, and please be honest with me, are businesses when it comes to energy saving? Are they doing what they need to do?
Especially South African businesses.
And especially because we're right in the middle of this energy crisis.
Well, I mean, obviously, there's a wide sort of spread between businesses. I've seen some businesses that are very active, have very well-developed strategies. But unfortunately, there are a lot of businesses out there that are a little bit like some of us at home, I think, just hoping that the problem will go away or that someone will fix it. And that's clearly not going to happen.
True.
And it's really now businesses need to start thinking about managing energy in the same way that they manage any other cost in their business. So you need to appoint the right people, you need to have a strategy, you need to engage experts either from outside or inside your company, and you need to manage it. It's not just going to get solved.
Right.
Yeah.
And how do businesses make their employees energy savvy? Ways to save energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think from a behavior point of view, there's not really a lot of rocket science. It's really around getting people to just do the sensible thing and switch off things that aren't in use. But really the smart thing to do as business manager, and any manager out there will tell you that you can't manage what you don't measure. So the first thing to do is put in some meters and some measuring devices so you can tell when people aren't behaving right.
So you can, so you can monitor them sort of.
And maybe you can reward them if they do switch
Give incentives,
things off and do incentives. But
Okay.
that's the first step, is you need to be able to tell what's going on.
First, in order to know what to do.
Correct.
All right. I want to ask you about the impact that this energy crisis has had on businesses. But first, I want to go to Durban. I understand Lauren is on the line. Lauren, how are you? Welcome to Afternoon Express.
Hi, Bonang. Hi, Bonnie.
Hi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. My question is, if I don't have enough space on my surge protector, what, in your opinion, what are the most important appliances that I should connect on my surge protector?
I love that question, Lauren. Thank you so much. I'm going to give Brent that question. I love that question. What are the most important appliances that she should protect?
Obviously, it depends on person to person, but the most important thing is obviously food, fridge. You need the food because we have frozen goods in the fridge, and sometimes it is off like at some certain places like a day or two, and it can melt. So keep your fridge on more than anything else. You can always use for lighting. You can always use products like this, quite cheap. And then because of the world we live in, put the device onto your computer as well. We'll take that as well.
Well, there you go. Well, Lauren, there you go. Protect your fridge first. And I can tell you, I've had a first-hand experience with a damaged fridge that is just, has fallen completely to pieces. I need a new one. But thank you very much for that. Back to you. I want to know about the impact that this energy crisis has had on businesses, big or small. And as a supplier, of course, you can see the statistics every day.
Well, it's tremendous. I mean, I think anybody at home will tell you that they're struggling with their energy bill. I mean, I can give you, an example. I don't know what your bill is at home, but if you look at a normal retail store, on average, their bills are between 1.5 million and 3 million rand a month. Wow. You have to sell a lot of cans of baked beans to pay for a bill like that. And they've all been through energy prices that have tripled in the last 5 years. So you're talking about entire industries that 5 years ago, were paying a third of what they are now for electricity. And these are not industries like the Sasols of the world who have lots of engineers. We're talking about people who make their living, selling things. We're talking about hotels. They can't just go and appoint an expert to solve the problem for them. So it's a real struggle, particularly for small business.
When it comes to renewable energy, like solar power, is that more cost competitive compared to normal electricity?
Yes, I'm very glad you asked that, because the thing with solar power is every year in April, when Eskom announces the tariff increases, the energy prices go up, but solar power actually is the same or even getting cheaper. So it's just becoming more and more cost competitive.
How do you think we can conscientize South Africans to that awareness?
Yeah, why aren't we using solar power?
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. What's happened is the price of solar has sort of been flat or come down, and the price of electricity from the grid is just going up, and we're really right now at this point where it's becoming cheaper. And I can say for our business in the last 6 months, of the companies that have come to us, 80% of them we've been able to say have offered them a solar solution that is cheaper than their grid electricity. But 2 years ago that wasn't the case. So it really is because of the tariff increase in the last 2 years that now. And if anybody who's listening out there that runs a business, if you take nothing else away from today other than maybe the chocolate tart, which does sound incredible, is now is really a good time to start looking at solar
Yeah.
for your small business.
And for homes, can I use solar in my homes? What are some of the solutions that are there for homes? Like, because I live in a very small complex. Are there ways of using it, introducing it into my daily life?
I've recently seen an article where people obviously use lights in the house, and it's also used in business as well, where instead of like having a solid roof on your business or on your house, you can actually take out panels and put in see-through panels, so that the sun can come in instead of using the lights in the dark places of your house during the day. So it's one of the things you can do to save electricity as well. You do get energy-saving bulbs as well that you can buy from any store. That brings down electricity as well.
Okay. All right. We do have a Facebook question from Vanessa McMaster. Says, if load shedding has done anything, it has made me appreciate the few things in life even more. It has made families sit down and talk, spending quality time with one another. Life is way too short to worry about 2 hours of no power. That is lovely, lovely, lovely. Well, Ellen Brain, thank you so much for coming through. I still have one more question, but I want to ask you after the break. But after the break, we take your calls on 083-913-3278. Today, we want to hear your craziest load sharing stories. And remember to join the conversation on social media. Tweet us at Afternoon Chat and use our official hashtag Afternoon Express. Also, comment on our Facebook page. Do what you need to do. We do love hearing from you. But right now, I think it's time for us to check in on that chocolate. Danilo, darling. Chocolate? Not yet? All right. Well, the chocolate is not ready. Let's check in on the chocolate after the break. Stay with us.
Express yourself.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express on SABC3. You are talking load shedding, horror stories, and getting some awesome tips from our energy experts. And we love to hear from you. So do call us right now. Also, tweet us at Afternoon Chat. Share some of those stories and tell us how we, can make life a little easier when we do and are seen and are kept and are stuck in the dark. Use our official hashtag Afternoon Express.
And we do have a caller on the line. Thokozile, are you there?
Hi, how are you, Benang?
Hey, how are
Welcome
you?
to Afternoon Express.
I'm okay, I'm great. I just have a question for Loyiso.
Me? Whoa, let's go.
My question is, where does his creativity come from, and does he write his own routines, like his own jokes?
All right. Well, thank you very much. What is your inspiration? Do you write your own material? Where does it come from?
Well, for stage, I write my own material, and then for the late night news, I write with a team of about 10 people. It's a sort of like a collaborative effort. But I do a lot of consulting, even for stage stuff. So my inspiration comes from all over the place. That's a very good question. Is it anonymous? She wasn't anonymous.
It's Thokozile.
Yes. No, people are. I want to be anonymous. Be like, this is a giveaway. We want to give you mine. I'd like to remain anonymous.
Thank you, Thokozile.
Thank you, darling. Thank you so much for your call. Enjoy the rest of the show. Cheers.
We also have a Facebook comment from Ritumesi. Ritumesi says, it happened to me yesterday, load shedding that is, when I was still bathing and it went off. Most awkward moment ever. I was still in the bath.
Oh, my darling.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, but anyway,
Hope you didn't bang your toe.
Let's move on to Twitter. Neo_Ombo says, at Afternoon Chat, it was late and I was cooking pap. And just after pouring the maize, the electricity went off. Hashtag load shedding. Hashtag Afternoon Express. It's so frustrating,
I know,
right?
it is. That's the worst part, for the electricity to go off. Then the pap is ruined.
You can't even carry on.
No, you can't. DJ Transit 31 says, Afternoon Chat, I was busy mixing music for a radio show and then the electricity went off. I was so mad. I had to redo my mix twice.
I'm sorry, darling.
So sorry.
Somebody's got to do it. But that's what I want to know. Do you ever have any horror stories during maybe a cabaret show, Irit, where the lights went off and you're right on stage? Because I've experienced it. I mean, in a mall and everything goes zoof.
That's when you pull out your cell phone and you light yourself up.
Yeah. Has it ever happened to you?
No, it hasn't yet.
Okay.
But if it does, as I say, I'll whip my cell phone out and just create my own spotlight.
I had a situation where I thought it was load shedding. Turned out it was something else. This dude was trying to steal cables in my building.
Oh, wow.
And we thought, oh, load shedding, and we were all getting ready, and then we're like, oh, there's a dude burning on the pavement. I know this is a happy show, but that's my load shedding story.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But that's the reality, and that's what we want to know. You know what I mean?
But usually when there's load shedding, I just go to my room and masturbate. I don't know.
Wow. Wow, oh my God. Can I tell a happier story?
Yes,
Which is going to make
sure.
me the envy of all South Africans.
Yeah.
And please don't hate me for this. The area where I live, I have never experienced load shedding.
You obviously don't live in
ever.
South Africa. That's lovely.
Wow.
Thank
I've
you. It's
never
nice to know.
experienced it. I don't know what it's like.
But for somebody
Please
like me,
tell me.
It's like a fairy story.
but for somebody like me, I mean, earlier on, Brent, you were saying that I should get a generator, but the generator's too loud. Then Alan, you came on and said there's something called a battery. It's quieter. It's I've never heard of that. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so it's I wouldn't say it's new to market, but it's something we're seeing more of now. We've actually also just opened a residential unit of our business because we're getting more and more requests from homeowners. And it's a battery, without being too technical, it's 3.5 kilowatts, but that's enough to not necessarily power your entire house, but all of the essentials. So the things Brett mentioned, like your fridge, your TV,
computer.
your computer, all of that. It's very neat. You can get it installed in your home, and it lasts 3 to 5 hours. So it's just enough to bridge you through load shedding.
Yeah.
And it's quiet. I mean, those of us, you can imagine if you live in a nice housing complex, you can't have people having generators and stuff
Obviously,
running.
our body lives in heaven.
I think it's
So she's not a client for us,
I think
but
it's also
anybody
because
else.
there's
Yeah.
like 2 hospitals not too far from where I live. Yes.
There we go.
And I live not far from the president's
I would
residence.
say, and in Kandla maybe as well. That's right.
Oh, okay, we're getting a little messy here.
Saucy.
So let's go see what else is saucing up in the kitchen. Danilo, tell me about the chocolate, sweetie.
You guys are hilarious. Absolutely love it. So we're going to quickly dust this off with a bit of icing sugar to finish it off. And can I just say, Marli, that I've loved having you in the kitchen. You are like my mommy in the kitchen. So I'm going to let you do the honors there. Dusted that side.
Lovely.
And it gives it a nice sort of feel to it at the top. So let's take this through to the table. I think everybody's dying to taste a bit of this chocolate. But you know what, South Africa, I've obviously all this talk about load shedding. I thought maybe we should do a candlelit dinner. What do you guys think? Candlelit?
Must we do a candlelit dinner?
Let's do a candlelit
I think we should do
All
it.
right.
I'll
Okay.
go get the lights.
This looks incredible, Marli.
Oh, good.
Thank you very, very much. You may take a seat.
I'll dish up for some of
It
you
looks
guys.
delicious. Oh, there we go. The
There we have
lights
it.
are off.
Awesome.
This
Now we
is
all look delicious.
perfect. Oh, thank you so much, South Africa, for watching. We are back tomorrow right here on SABC3. We're going to enjoy a tart. Thank you for watching from all of us in the loft. Good night.
Happy eating.
Tomorrow on Afternoon Express, one of South Africa's top blues guitarists, Dan Padlansky, joins us in the loft to talk about becoming a father, and we take a look at how to deal with dog behavioral issues.
Nada. Feel good production.
Join us next time for more fabulous fun inspired by First for Women on Afternoon Express. For an insurance quote, call 0861 11 18 44 or SMS FIRST to 49267.